I thought my 20s would be a big party. Thought I'd never want them to end. Thought I'd spend my 20s out every weekend with all.
So I just got laid off from my full-time job a few days ago, which means I'm about to lose access to healthcare because I get my health insurance through my employer like so many other Americans do. We are the only developed nation that does this, the only developed nation that does not recognize healthcare as a basic human right, the only developed nation that does not have universal healthcare. I do have a couple options of what I can do. I can go on my ex-employer's health insurance, but I would be paying that out of pocket, and that would be probably around $700 a month, which is going to be hard to swing now that I'm out of a job. I could go without health insurance and just hope that I don't have a medical emergency that'll put me tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. You also get penalized on your tax return if you don't have health insurance. I could get married to my partner and get put on his health insurance that he gets through his employer. That's actually a very common practice in the US. A lot of people get married so they can go on their partner's health insurance. I can also purchase health insurance individually on the market. I've never done that before. I can't imagine that it's cheap, but that's probably the option I'm going to take. One of the stupidest things about the US is that our healthcare access is largely dependent on our employment status.
I got laid off this morning. I was supposed to have the day off. The whole company was supposed to be off. I get a phone call from my boss, and she goes, "I need you to check your email. The sales director wants to have a meeting with you." I'm like, okay, like, I'll go check my email. Like, I'm at home, it's fine. So I have a meeting invite from the sales director titled Meeting with HR. HR! Like, everyone who is in the corporate world knows that it's never a good thing when you have a meeting with HR, because it normally only means one thing, and it normally means that you're losing your job. So I get ready for this call. I go put my makeup on, go put on my mascara, because I know I'm probably going to have my camera on. And what do you know? They say, "We're going to eliminate your position. We are trying to save money," yada, yada, yada. And they go through all this stuff that you're never going to remember because, like, your life just changed, like, within the blink of an eye. And the crazy thing is that my boss, like, didn't even know that this was happening. Like, when she called me, I called her back and I was like, what's the issue? Like, I see HR is on this meeting. And she's like, "I don't know, like, I'll drive home for this meeting." So then I just have to, like, you have to sit there, like, with your camera on after they just delivered, like, the worst news ever. Like,
We will lean on our core value of putting people first as we support our colleagues during this transition. Some Cargill workers in southeast Iowa will be out of a job early next year. According to Iowa Warn, the location in Eddyville is laying off 29 people on February 5th. The company announced earlier this month it would be letting go of 5% of its workforce. KCCI reached out to Cargill, which referred us to its previous statement saying, quote, "This difficult decision was not made lightly. We will lean on our core value of putting people first as we support our colleagues during this transition."
I need you to understand that you need to be using this time to prepare for the Q1 hiring surge. If you are not using this time, you will either be on the train or get left out. You need to be doing three things. Number one, your resume should be very clear and tight on accomplishments and impacts. I've said that a million times. I've even given you all resume templates at the link in my bio for you to prepare. I am not selling that. I'm trying to get you to understand that you will get left out. Okay, so you need very clear verbiage on what you have accomplished, not just what you did. Number two, most people who get jobs earning 100K or 200K or better, especially 200 or better, have no issue, no insecurity reaching out to hiring managers or recruiters and saying, "Hey, you're looking to hire for a role that is high, that it requires A, B, and C." That's so funny because here are three accomplishments that relate directly to A, B, and C. I'd love to set up time with you to talk about the role. It works. It certainly works. Number three, there comes a point in time where you stumbling on basic interview questions has to end. That is tiring. You've been interviewing for 7 years and you're still stuck on "tell me about yourself." How do you resolve conflict? What are your core skills? What have you learned in your role? There comes a point in time, people, that has to end. That's it. You have to stop stumbling on basic elementary questions. Those should be hardwired in your brain. And the only thing you should be stumbling on are very tough hot seat interview questions where it comes out of nowhere and you're like, wait, oh, that's a good question. Let me answer it this way. Anyway, you need to hardwire the answers to basic questions, and a sub point to that is use a framework to position your answers. It could be the STAR format, situation, task, action, result, or it could be CARL, context, action, results, learning. Doesn't matter. Stick to one of the two and go win an interview, win the job.